Hello everyone. Today, I'm gonna grunt about some shit. And it's some shit near and dear to my fucking heart. So prepare to be spoken to, or ranted at, as a result of an old head infantryman crashing out about his beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes sisters, I also call grunts. My lovable murder hobos, the infantry. And in this video, I will attempt very poorly, but very simply, to talk about them in every single universe I can possibly remember in my TBI-riddled, IED-rattled, PTSD-fueled special way that I can. Let's fucking go. Infantry, very simply put, is a specialization of military personnel who engage in a specific type of warfare and quite usually make up the larger bulk of your military forces, if you have any sense. Mostly falling under close quarter combat, close direct combat engagement, or my favorite, to close with, engage, eliminate, and destroy the enemies of whatever state, nation, or country, or whatever entity you swore your life to the people of. Infantry generally consists of light infantry, irregular infantry, heavy infantry, mountain infantry, motorized infantry, mechanized infantry, airborne infantry, air assault infantry, and, much lesser mentioned, naval infantry. That said, in case you didn't get it already, this video is all about it. And when I mean infantry, I mean the strict definition. As in, personnel, not robots, or drones, or stand-ins for real grunts. I mean to pin the persons in personnel on my roster of killers called infantrymen, and leave it purely so. Sorry, anti-human fanatics that love the idea of having your personal armies of murder machines that can just be programmed to your whims and fancy like some overgrown toddler that never grew up with any measure of discipline or reality checks and only ever got your way. But this is about people. People that decided to write a blank check to populations that hate them in order to keep back whatever enemies you have by default of your existence, the mostly men but women as well, who decided that others were worth risking their one and only existence to defend for whatever reasons that make them put on a uniform and become a target for whatever hates you, and to also be a stand-in for you when subject to being a prisoner of such in your stead. On behalf of all of them, you are welcome. Okay. Have I crashed out enough yet? Okay, well, there is a lot more, motherfucker, and today I will learn you harder than graphene is to make and supply. That being said, we are starting with Halo. From your usual regular grunts in the UNSC branches to your special mission units or commandos of all stripes, and the top tier of them all, ODSTs and Spartans. Infantry in Halo is good enough to not only take on a technologically superior enemy in close combat, but to stomp them into the dirt, even while losing the entire time. No matter the engagement, the enemy force size, the tech, superior numbers, and firepower, the UNSC infantry always delivered one of two things: a total enemy wipe, or victory so fucking costly to the Covenant, they decided it was better to glass entire planets rather than just keep sending reinforcements. I will say that again. I will fucking say that again for everyone in the back. Regular fucking grunts made a numerically superior enemy quit throwing numbers at them and fucking rage quit. Moving on. Even the Covenant's literal elite warriors, the best the Covenant had, were so goddamn impressed with just your average UNSC infantrymen, much less the Spartans, who were to the Coveys so scary they were called demons. Just like in all religions and all universes, their performance against everything the Covenant had to throw at them had such a psychological effect against literal religious zealots trying to wipe them from existence that they started to question not only the entire war, but their millennia-strong core beliefs and religion so hard it started a civil war inside a civilization that was, up to that point, stomping humanity fucking flat on every metric. Victories won for humanity notwithstanding. It was so bad. Former Covenant high leadership on every level were going to former human worlds and damn near crying over the absolute totality of a unit that humanity's warriors were in those battles. Not fucking kidding. It's in lore books. It's literal canon. And felt so goddamn bad about it. They lamented over glassing human worlds where they fought. And that is fucking glorious. Because even after losing and being dead for decades in most cases, the human infantrymen's dead spirits were haunting them and assaulting their goddamn dreams from the afterlife. Talk about karma. The UNSC infantry at every level made their own karma manifest amongst the enemy with their fighting spirit. Remember, part of the creed is to destroy. And since destruction doesn't have to be physical, and it's kind of hard to accomplish that one if you're dead, internal destruction of your enemy can suffice, it seems. And that was some bloody, violent, righteous karma, if you ask me. That's the grunts of the UNSC. They may not win, but they will fuck you up, dead or alive. And that's a binary nobody can dispute. Spartan side note. Original female Spartans, most especially Kelly and Linda, and then all the rest of the female Spartan 2s in the original lore canon. Reach is not canon, it's just cool fan fiction that I also like, but I will never accept it because it's lore breaking and 343 becoming a Skinwalker rebrand game of Halo to hide the fact their dog shit just makes it worse. Are the best female Spartans and the best girls to ever grow, period. If I had any fictional crushes, it would be them at their pinnacle form. Alongside female gears from the next part. As operational adults, that has to be added in. Remember, Spartans started as literal children, so that caveat is very necessary. And I would happily take the place of any UNSC regular grunt, period, just so I could propose to them. I don't give a fuck if they're super soldiers. They were all real independent boss babes I think would have been the perfect wives, period, that not only would be monster mommies, but that I would have every confidence in, period, due to sheer competence and commitment. Fit women are sexy as a default, but women that are extremely capable on every level, and they are not just posing as such, fucking sends me to high charity to solo nuke it into oblivion, because I fucking love them. Okay. Female Spartan simping side note over. Let's move on. Oh, and just so I can say it again, Halo Studios is dog shit. Suck my balls. Next, somewhat of a fan favorite. Starship Troopers. The Mobile Infantry. Or MI, as it is called in both the books and the movie. Everything past the first movie is not real to me, and it's at best B-tier slop, which you watch with your brain-dead friends when you are higher than helium off some sweet, sweet green dupes, when you need to always take the edge off. I would know that is what I did. Hard times and all that. Moving on. The MI, or Mobile Infantry, are basically infantry of the future 700 years from the years the books were written. Faster than light travel is quite extraordinary, as you can cover about 10 light years in just 2 weeks. Talk about logistics. Energy and its miniaturization ensure everyone has plenty of energy to spare for whatever it is the fuck they want, while military technology, which is so far advanced of us now, as well as the military, exists side by side in such things as schools, civilian life, and every single level of government. As the only way to get to vote is you must have taken the real risk of dying for it, and therefore must earn such privilege, which is never simply granted, like for us by dint of birth now. I mean, they literally have regeneration technology. You can lose a limb and get it back without finding the original, which is very appealing to a grunt like myself, and the mobile infantry is strictly how it sounds. Mobile. And according to all accounts, Starship Troopers by Heinlein is credited as being the pioneer for powered armor and suits of every kind we know today. Indeed, you would not have Gundams, or Big O, Pacific Rim, the Iron Giant, or Titans from Warhammer 40k, or anything possibly resembling it, without Starship Troopers having started it. And by mobile, I mean mobile. Just look at this. And this. And this. Not only has this stood the test of time on all accounts, but the progenitor of our beloved armor buff to my dear, dear infantry is equal to anything presented today, from anywhere, and could still match it. The mobile infantry powered armor suits takes the usual flavors, and in the words of one Juan Johnny Rico, they turned humans into, quote, steel gorillas, with the enhanced abilities and performance granted by such. They could jump over entire buildings, take tank rounds to the face, bulldoze through anything with the upper limits that being of a steel gorilla would allow, and had the mobility to move around as if they weren't wearing armor, period, but had enhanced capabilities nonetheless. And MI, the mobile infantry, were capable of hitting targets in many cases miles away, and the armor variants had specialties, plus utility to spare in every regard. And that one just gets me hard. And they're still almost lost to some fucking space pests the size of houses, in some case the size of battleships on old Terra. Not for lack of anything, really. Just because numbers and a single-minded tenacity bugs have is a quality all its own. And when you have zero regard for any existence, even your own, even you could overwhelm the most stalwart enemy with even the best tech ever known. That is Starship Troopers. For the younger audience, imagine Helldivers 2 on steroids, HGH, and TRT, with armored suits that could actually move better than you, and not the clunky mess that is in the game currently. While useful, the suits in Helldivers 2 are very lacking compared to something that would let you jump onto a mountain and then bombard your enemy where they could never reach you. And from literal beyond all sight ranges, that is the mobile infantry. I have introduced you. That being said, MI suffers from the same as all the rest of these aforementioned subjects. They are just never enough of them. And despite their valor and bravery, combined with their tech and capabilities, they are still ultimately mortal and limited regardless. That being said, piss off the mobile fucking infantry, and they may not always win, but they will absolutely fuck you up beyond question. I mean, they terrified a bug 1,000 times their size, and everyone knows bugs don't have feelings. Next, Gears of War. Gears of War Infantry. Let's just stick to the grunts we know and love. The Cog Infantry. And mostly the Gears, which is what the Cog Infantry was most colloquially known as. The Cog Infantry at just the individual level were absolute fucking units. I mean, just look at these men. These goddamned meat mountains of men. Arnold, eat your heart out. You've got shit on these dudes, period. Marcus Phoenix alone could beat the world's strongest man in real life. And that would be his fucking playtime. Not even a warm-up. Just playing. Side note, I am sticking to old school Gears of War, and lore stops for me after Marcus kills Queen Mira. Anything afterwards is just modern audience fanin at best, delusional activist fanfiction at worst. Old Gears is best Gears. Get over it. Individually, each gear is an IRL strongman bodybuilder if steroids, TRT, and HGH were just genetic fucking traits as a literal biological baseline. These humans were baseline units before becoming gears, and human monsters afterwards. On an individual level, gears are lifting several ton steel doors, and there's a picture somewhere of Marcus lifting as a light workout somewhere around, let me check the math, 3,960 fucking pounds in his old mansion. The small plates that were on the bar were about 660 pounds each, and there were 6 of them on the fucking bar. And that was just where he grew up. And that's as a fucking teenager. Marcus Phoenix was benching a full-sized fucking SUV or a pickup truck, which is close to 4 tons. As a fully grown adult, they're most likely lifting elephants that can weigh anywhere from 4 to 7 tons. Saren humans are just built different. If I could get, let me check my notes, Isekai, or Isekai, whatever. I think I used that correctly. Someone will let me know, I am sure. I would love to be a gear and come back to Earth to repopulate it after the nukes drop. Humanity will be in space again, and we will conquer the cosmos with that much biological hardware as a baseline frame to start with how safe our brains would be in that regard. Much like the last segment's heroic stalwarts, the gears were basically always losing, period. Even after the war was said and done to an extent with the Locust, more and worse shit just kept coming at them like the lambent. Ugh. Someone modded, it was almost like someone modded Gears of War to have Murphy's Law as a default setting turned up to maximum. But the fact humanity survived a great filter level event, I say that surviving even to regain numbers and repopulate by itself is a solid fucking win in my book. Also, Sam, Anya, and Bernie are the best girls to girl in Gears of War. You cannot stop this old soldier from loving his female grunts that know what dedication, strength, power, commitment, and loyalty actually look like, coming from truly independent boss babes instead of wannabes. We all know what they are. They not only do all the men do, but they keep up and are still female and feminine in every way. But they also stand next to the men, shoulder to shoulder, and are not trying to get in everyone's way because they think their gender or sex makes them special and therefore superior to men. Hashtag make gaming great again. In totality, gears are monsters compared to the average of other sci-fi universes most well known by the general casual population of those that play games or sometimes read. If I had to pick up a regular grunt period, it would be a gear. No questions asked, male or female. Especially so I could have a gear wifey that I'll never have to worry about much except to ensure I'm firing on all gears. Pun intended. I funny. To give her all the love she absolutely deserves, because I have zero doubts that is all I would have to worry about as far as she is concerned, period. Side note, I know there's zero chances of that existing in our reality, so I make do with what's in my head canon. Thanks for listening. I hate our reality, please. Thanks, now moving on. Gears rip everything in front of them apart, barehanded even, while losing so much the same as the UNSC. They may not always win, but they will survive, and will absolutely make anyone deeply regret beating them at all. Okay. Next one's kinda... Hope you're ready, because time for the gay lames woke shop slop to make a fucking appearance. I hope you're happy, Chaos Cultists. You win this round. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go away, terrorist. You're not welcome here in the name of the God Emperor. You should be purged from every existence. Crash out over, let's get to lore. From the Planetary Defense Forces to Primarchs, the infantry of Warhammer 40k are not the best, the strongest, the fastest. In fact, they are the mostly nothingest you could really get, while still being viable in a purposefully OP setting that is actually a try-hard wannabe OP setting that fails its number scaling on every level, but I digress. The Imperial Guard are closer to the UNSC or IRL military than they are the next fucking level their infantry goes to, by orders of magnitude difference of a planet versus a solar system. Also kind of depending on who is writing what at what time. Inconsistency to cover lazy writing or agenda-driven lighting as a lore cover is just annoying as all hell. But here we are. They at least win almost as much as they lose, or even more so. They fight everything from other humans, to aliens of all different stripes, to literal armies of biblical Satans and Lucifers with just a high-powered fucking flashlight, faith, and balls of ceramite you could replace whole exterminatist planets with. And they actually win a lot. But not just from skill, training, or balls, but numbers. When the hammer of the Imperium falls on some shit, it drowns its enemy in sheer numbers. And as the next best thing to fortify that hammer, called Space Marines. Basically, many humanoid tanks with legs that can tank enemy fire and give it back tenfold. As the meme says, the Space Marines are their own cover. Not that they do not use some tactics and strategy of a sort, but it's just what you would expect from them, really. I mean, take a look at a Space Marine, and you pretty much know what to expect, and they deliver. But then go to the level of Primarchs, and you're talking literal demigods. Literally emphasized so strong because they are the sons of a god, literally said. But at their core, no matter their super soldier status, they are all ultimately and still fundamentally infantrymen, point blank, period. They may be upgraded and elevated beyond their standard regular human brethren, but your guardsmen and guardswomen, normal humans all, are the core of the next level metas. Sisters of Battle are basically female Space Marines, Sisters of Silence as well, best sisters both. Space Marines are all male, and so are Custodes. Primarchs are all male, period. From your baseline to the most expensive models, Infantry in 40K has a lot to throw at you to win, and they do not care about costs. They even have a literal definition of attrition warfare as a special regiment called the Death Corps of Krieg, whose sole purpose in life is to drown the enemy in their corpses and chop enemies up with trench shovels until they stop showing up or you wipe them out, because there is always more than enough Death Corps of Krieg. End of story. That being said, I would never want to be anything in Gaylang Workshop Slopverse period, in-universe or out-universe. Inconsistency is the norm, activism and writing is the new norm, and I would not want to serve alongside a chaos cultist just because they pretend to be on my side. I am convinced Zinch and Slanesh made an IRL pact and are trying to rewrite history to give the Chaos Gods an edge in universe over the better factions by warping the brains of the Gaylam's Workshop people into believing chaos on any level is good. My disappointment knows no bounds. Okay. Now the next one. Let's get in. Now let's go with the. Wait. Stardust Enterprise? Is that what it? No. Whoops. Wait. That doesn't sound right. Starship Enterprise? Wait. No. That's a starship in the Star Trek universe. They don't have infantry as far as I know. Where the hell? Oh wait. I already made a video about battletech infantry. Actually, several. They're on the channel. Link in the description. This video is long enough. Let's move on from the fucked up, crashed out part of this script. Here it is. Star Wars Infantry. Shit. How do I mix it up with Star Trek? Whatever. They're both soft as fuck. That's how you do that. And you know how I do it. What do you want from me? Anyway, let's go with the totality of the human factions of Star Wars. Their infantry combined, from the planet's militaries to the Grand Army of the Republic to the Imperial Army and Stormtroopers, clone troopers most specifically, to the Republic Commandos. They are pretty awesome, in a way. Republic Commando, best Star Wars game, may it forever never have a modern audience remake, please, never! Even in the hundreds of thousands, clone troopers were outperforming space murder death robots that numbered in the fucking trillions. I'll say that again for everyone. Even in the hundreds of thousands initially, and then the millions and millions later, were outperforming space murder death robots that numbered in the trillions or more. While there is only ever record of there being in the high millions of clone troops, while wearing white fucking armor that stands out everywhere like a target on a shooting range the size of a billboard, these infantry grunts still dominated the whole galaxy for a long time relative to human years. And were so good, they literally fought alongside both Jedi and Sith, and sometimes fought both, depending on who read what, and what is fanon, canon, woke canon, and whatever. And could still have the chance to come out on top. There is even a book, I forget which one. A few books in Star Wars were enthralling enough to make me stand up while reading. But there is a special squad of commandos that literally defied Darth Vader to his fucking face and lived to tell the tale. As far as I remember, at least. And he force-choked gods. Then again, they might also have been ARC troopers. They were very badass too. Whatever. I cannot find it, so I'll stick to it. Not only that, And please add more, please, in the comment section if you can. Finding anything that's not absolutely fucked when it comes to Star Wars is literally a fight by itself. Not only that, but they broke their programming and defied Order 66. In my own words, fuck yeah. The later renamed Stormtroopers that made up the Imperial Army actually degraded over time, and while they did not live up to the quality and training of their progenitors or predecessors, they did still rule the fucking galaxy with a tech level that would easily rival on a baseline, if not surpass, the other factions and universe's mentions of infantry on a basic standard level. When half your weaponry just atomizes shit if it hits it, space lasers are ubiquitous, and numbers are always ramped up to 11 and beyond the galaxy far, far away, you know victory is just a matter of time. I mean, what the hell is a space wizard gonna do against an army led by a force user that can pull your entire fleet and toss it into a black hole he decided to make right next to it? And even if he does nothing but tell his troops to go die, the tech level and numbers alone will absolutely suffice. But with the terrible aim stormtroopers have in the modern day, probably thanks to budget cuts that any and all parties with that particular type of left bend loves to do their military to hamstring themselves, that might make a difference against, say, the Imperial Guard, who tends to hit shots more often than not. So maybe the quality of their infantry versus other factions' infantry equals out. Plus, the Guard uses cover on top of having decent standard armor and fortifications and emplacements. You don't see stormtroopers doing that very much, if at all, depending on other things. Numbers are a quality of their own, but it pretty much ends there. And now to mention the other side of Star Wars for everybody who thinks of themselves this way, but actually truly is not. The Rebel faction? They barely register except for plot armor. They are written to win anyway, and are not better than your standard stormtrooper by much. So swap their places and it's not much difference. Morality and ethics aside. Now, Republican commandos, made into a standard army that stood the test of time and never changed? That would be a fuck yeah from me. That being said, I think the commandos would see everything humanity is fighting in Warhammer 40k. They would drop everything else and stand alongside the guardsmen and simply say, let's get to work. And I love my headcanon more than any woke cannon, so I'm sticking with it. Suck my nuts, it's my video, I do what I want in my own head. Thanks for clicking, welcome to my insanity. Maybe I have had too many blows to the head. But I feel okay, so it's okay. Don't think about it. I'm moving on. I said moving on before I crash out and burn like a Star War about the Disneyfication of Stark woke in the modern day. Knights of the Old Republic, still great, still play it when I can. Best eras of Star Wars ever. Actually, moving on this time. Next up is the Helldivers. Wait. I already did that. My video about Helldivers is in the description. Just watch it alongside this one. Helldivers are not very strong, powerful, or anything really. It's just humanity in space, pretty much it. Nothing else to it, really. Still a fucking awesome game despite the wokeivist community managers. The game is fucking fantastic. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What else? Let me see. Oh, here's one. Oh, shit. Trench Crusade? Well, That's a lot to get into. My personal recommendation is to check out Kateri on YouTube or Fantasy Future. Both are good channels for Trench Crusade, period. It's still relatively new and harder to understand than Warhammer 40k. It's Warhammer 40k. If Warhammer 40k was more true to its wannabe status, stuck to its established non-woke slops lore, and turned everything, especially the grim dark part of it all, up to a fucking million. Your average infantry can fight toe-to-toe with literal biblical demons from hell, and literally toe-to-toe with a fucking sword gun and shield-wearing medieval armor scaled up to be viable against bullets and magical fucking missiles and shit. With roughly industrial age technology mixed with mysticism, mixed with religion, mixed with magics and sorcery derived from real-world religions and beliefs, with a tint of such things as alchemy and more. Need I go on? Okay, maybe I do. That being said, Trench Crusade is small as fuck. Yep, there I said it. I look forward to the very colorful, fastly typed comments that are going to be in the comment section about that. But hear me out, please. Because I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it ain't good. I'm not saying it ain't fun either, or cool as fuck. I'm just saying the scale doesn't even register on the same level as Halo, much less Warhammer 40k or Stark Woke. It's not even on a scale with something as grounded as battletech, which basically spans the Milky Way. It's all just on Earth. And that is it. That's all. Sure, you can argue the scale of threat is pretty big, but when everything is limited and stuck on only one planet, and even the dimensional stuff is, well, still stuck to the same exact planet, versus anything, it's losing big time. I love my infantry, and in Trench Crusade, infantry is everything from medieval knights to assassins to fucking everything historically cool and everything fan-fiction-y is all fucking hell, taken up all the way to its extreme that could possibly be reached. And it would still lose as far as its scale to Warhammer 40k. Warhammer 40k? Well, Exterminatus. And do the Macador thing, where you just shove the whole planet into a black hole, then close the black hole. All problems on the planet are simply gone. It's not even a fight. Just cleanup. The UNSC? Sure, it would be a serious fight on the ground, but I think the UNSC would take one look and decide the planet is not worth all the trouble on it, and nuke it into oblivion. Launch a few thousand nuclear missiles and just quarantine what's left. If demons don't have a place to invade to or from, they just stop being a problem, since it seems all just limited to, again, only one planet where all the bullshit is stuck on. Or wait, I'm not taking this far enough. The Halo rings. Humanity basically owns them now, and knows how to use them. Turn them all onto that one single planet and annihilate everything on it. Bingo, no more demons or anything else for that fucking matter. Star Wars? Laugh my fucking ass off. What is a demon gonna do when a Sith decides to just throw the planet into the sun? Kinda hard to do limited demon shit when a Force user that can eat stars and toss planets around like fucking toys decides you can just stop existing on the one single planet all this fuckery is happening on. Now, all of that out of the way and being said, Trench Crusade is cool, and is very nice and grim scary, but when your whole thing is literally only the scale of a single planet that only fits so much on it, it loses its oomph for me, at least. Still cool as fuck, I want this shit in space. Someone please campaign to have this scaled up to a fucking Googleplex level of insanity. I want real Space Crusaders, fucking please, and thank you! But basically, simply put about Trench Crusade's infantry. Well, fucking almost indestructible knights and armor fighting literal demons. How much more fucking hooah can you possibly be? Deus Volt is what it feels like to me. Moving on. Fine. I will mention BattleTech a little bit, even though I already done this shit and nobody watched it. Link is in the description box. BattleTech is like real-life infantry grunts of everywhere. If they went into space with 80s technology, well, the pinnacle of 80s technology when it came to the military, with some specific niche advancements in other ways. Not much to be said. Already covered in another bunch of videos. Again, linked in description. But I will say this. When you have infantry, just people on their own legs, that can take down walking giant armored robots of any size, well, that is me and the grunts I know. In space, in war, and war never changes, just gets new toys. BattleTech Infantry is a mix mash with tech. Some places still use ballistic weaponry, some use lasers, flamethrowers are still a thing, machine guns, riding winged dinosaurs, with all the same basic capabilities of a grunt, just like me. See my Link Divers video for a physical demonstration. And I am an old, retired grunt. At least for now. And I am literally nothing special, period. And there's not much to say beyond that, really. Between Halo and BattleTech, both fairly grounded, but BattleTech more so. Just take a standard US Army or Marines grunt and put them in space with fancier versions of what we use now. Kaboom! You have BattleTech Infantry, there you go. Everything goes also about what you would expect it would also. Again, very grounded universe. And take note that infantry is still, on average, the makeup of 80% of militaries in the fucking galaxy. You heard me. For a universe heavily centered around giant stompy robots and their pilots called mechwarriors, it sure seems like infantry, even thousands of years in the future, still cannot be replaced, period. Even the weirdo space cultists still have infantry, and let's not forget the motherfucking Black Watch of the SLDF. Infantry on steroids doesn't cut it. Because when you tank nukes and keep killing the enemy and are too fucking angry to die and to stay dead, you are infantry gods in my book. Rest in peace to the originals, though. Old school was the best school. End of story. In BattleTech, infantry does much the same as it's always done in our current universe. Rolled up our fucking sleeves and slayed the enemy whichever, however, whenever, whyever, way, how possible we could. And always called in the artillery just to be sure. Okay. Now it's time for other universes lesser known to get mentions. Because this video is a fucking century long already on the script. And most people know nothing about these ones, period. Why? Well, because they make the brain hurty, that is why. Very simple. And as a simpleton, it made my brain hurty to relearn about them. So let's go. If I must endure pain, so should you. Stellaris. Scale. Tech. Forget it. You can have so much infantry at any level, period. You can straight conquer galaxies by yourself and basically become a god in your own right in-game. Your infantry is kind of what you make it. But sheer scale means if you got the mostest with the greater tech, some playthroughs I have seen with have infantry taking over planets in minutes. Okay, rewind. Planets. Minutes. This grunt is jealous as fuck and more envious than Cain before he uninstalled Abel from existence. I mean, just look up Stellaris, and you get the point. I mean, look at this shit. Now, look at this other shit. Literally build a soldier, and you can have any you want. Point made, I think. In Stellaris, you can just have the last few factions with heavy mods, I'll add that in, all in the same universe as their own factions. And you could conquer them all. Period. End of story. There was even a story where someone killed half the population of another entire civilization, turned them into food, then opened trade with same civilization, and traded, yup, you guessed it, food made from their dead fellows. The motherfucker fed them their dead, and that is how fucking hard this can go. Oh, and basically Clark Tech. Nothing else below this is going to even fight for long. Just be target practice. A real turkey shoot. When you can literally build a soldier like a Build-A-Bear, yeah, there's nothing at all you can do against that. Just imagine the infantry and women are gods at best, or slaves quadrillions or gazillions deep, and you are not winning, period. Okay. We're almost done, I swear. Now the hard sci-fi. The Z-Lee sequence. My God. Infantry weapons are firing big bangs at you, and that is the lowest level there is. Planets. Hell, solar systems are simply gone. Infantry are already gods in this universe, and they decide entire wars in not even seconds. They could go back in time and then defeat you before you even popped up and wipe you out before you even started to exist. And then on the other end of that, they throw fucking stars at their enemies. You are not winning, or even fighting that shit. You are simply existing 1 second. The next second, your entire galaxy is simply gone, and you did not know it happened. Nothing can stand against that. You are an insignificant, not even a speck of matter to the ICOG. Much less the transcendenced fucking Jesus. Just imagine humanity as gods, and now scale that up to Googleplex levels of power, and that's the transcendence. Humanity if it were literal gods. I mean, these guys had such power, they were trying to take all of time and crunch it all into the same exact thing. You tell me how in the fuck you're getting around that shit with anything before it. Please let me know. And even they were not winning in their own galaxy or universe. Because the namesake of the books, the Z-Lee, just ignored humanity. Even when humanity was throwing everything at them with such ferocity, they turned to the galactic center fucking pink. And the Z-Lee were ignoring them. By the way, that was all of humanity trying to fight them. All of humanity who could travel back in time, use time travel to rule an empire, could literally and quite just absolutely lambast anything around them, period, and had already wiped whole entire other sectors of life completely clean. All of humanity that could do all of that was trying to fight them. And there was just one fucking Z-Lee in the entire Milky Way. Yep. Just one. That was it. And the Z-Lee could literally think reality to be whatever they wanted within the physics they operated in. Well, fuck. You're being turned into just a cell and being used as a building block, and you have zero consent to even give in this fucked up non-transaction, because God, that's why. And even they were literally nothing compared to the enemy of everyone that did not know it was the enemy of anything. The fucking Fotino birds. They were just wandering around the entire universe, introducing premature heat death to it just because they wanted it to be comfortable for themselves, And it was just a literal cosmic force of nature, consequence of them existing. And the Zeeli were trying to fight them. And the Photino birds didn't even notice. Not exactly an infantry thing, because that is just like a black hole in my mind that gives me an existential crisis just thinking about it. But you don't need infantry if you can just think and boom, rearrange all of reality, where all of humanity is simply some kind of fucked up cosmic soup to make whatever you want from it. Okay. I think I'm done now. I think. Oh, that was rough. Holy fuck. So that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming on this ever-escalating war trip with me and entertaining my stupidity and simpleton thoughts on things that may or may not even matter, period. And again, thank you, Commander Wolf, for saving me. Thank you, whoever watched. And I will see you whenever I make another video. And if nobody else does, I'll love you. Be good. Be safe. Make a good life for yourselves. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you would like more of my insanity. And do not compromise your safety and security for nobody and nothing. Death and disaster is only a second away. Do what you can today. And I will see you in the next one. I am Badger7 Actual, the formerly homeless veteran, BlastCapBadger, and Nobody on YouTube. Out.